Hello, my name is Marisol Garcia, and I am doing my final presentation for Midwifery 1030 on the importance of body feeding. I also wanted to quickly highlight, if I may, that I've taken a peek at several of the presentations in the discussion board, and I just wanted to let everybody know what an amazing job everybody did, and your hard work definitely shows. And I also wanted to congratulate us all for wrapping up and finishing off this term. Hopefully, within the next few weeks, we can recharge, regain some strength and energy and focus for ourselves, for our families, and then get right back into it in the new year. So, without further ado, I want to go ahead and get started on the presentation. So, oftentimes, when we talk about the benefits of body feeding or breastfeeding, we tend to focus a lot on the benefits to the child or the infant. This can come from well meaning friends and family, pediatrician, birth workers themselves, educators, etc. So, I also want to take some time in this presentation to talk about the benefits to the lactating and or the birthing parent, and also the family unit, which also includes the partner or anybody who's living within the home of the birthing parent. This can mean grandparents, parents, siblings, etc., which tend to pick up a lot of the support roles during this recovery time postpartum. So, as we get into it, we are going to highlight the child, the infant. So, human milk provides immunities and colostrum that encourages healthy gut bacteria for a baby's immature digestive system. It's the perfect nourishment for your baby and uniquely designed specifically for them. And what this means is whenever your child is sick, has a cold, an ear infection, teething, a growth spurt, for example, your body creates the unique needs that your baby needs during these times of stress on their body. It also helps to promote skin to skin contact, which helps to regulate the baby's body temperature, their breathing, and their heart rate, which is extremely important during the postpartum period within the first several months of the baby's life. And then we are also less likely, or the child is also less likely to suffer from diarrhea, ear infections, allergies, asthma, diabetes, bowel disease, and reduced chances of SIDS, which is sudden infant death syndrome. There's also a lot of social and emotional development benefits to the baby that I don't think are often talked enough about. And body feeding and skin to skin allows the baby to trust you as their primary source of safety and comfort. So the two bottom ones with the social and emotional development kind of go hand in hand with that one. Next, I want to talk about human milk composition, so how it's created and what are the benefits to the child. So colostrum is provided to your infant from day 0 to day 3. This is rich in whey protein, minerals, chloride, sodium, magnesium, and leukocytes, which is exactly what your baby needs for the first few days of life. Our transitional milk typically evolves around day 3 and day 5 postpartum. This milk has higher levels of fat and vitamins and has more calories than colostrum. This can also be correlated to your child's first growth spurt. That tends to happen around this time frame too. And then we also have our mature milk, which has increased carbohydrates, fats, vitamins A, C, B6, B12, folate, choline, thiamine, calcium, and lipids. Next, we're going to talk about some of the benefits for the birthing parent. So, breast and or body feeding is very beneficial to the birthing parent, especially immediately postpartum. So, here are some physiological processes that happen postpartum. It aids in uterine involution postpartum. It reduces the chances of postpartum mood disorders, also helps with breast cancer prevention and osteoporosis. And the birthing parent reports less stress and anxiety. And having the baby skin to skin not only helps with oxytocin levels, which help with milk supply, even if the baby is not directly feeding. So, when we're talking about the oxytocin levels, we can also correlate that to the reduced chances of postpartum mood disorders, and the birth parent also reports less stress and anxiety because oxytocin is known as the love hormone, of course. Next, we want to talk about what some of the benefits are to the partner and or the family unit. Again, I tend to focus a lot on multi-generational homes, specifically because they are becoming a lot more popular, because cost of living is a lot higher. We also have parents that are aging and moving into their adult children's homes, and this helps them to help support the family with childcare, helping around the house, all of the different things, specifically postpartum, which is what we're focusing on in this topic. So, for benefits to the family unit and or the partner, it does help to reduce healthcare related costs from previously mentioned conditions for both the birthing parent and the child. So we talked about less allergy, ear infections, um, diarrhea, things of that nature for the infant, but we also talk about what some of the health benefits are to the lactating parent. So, less chances of osteoporosis, uterine cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and less chances of postpartum mood disorders, as I mentioned as well. When you have a healthier birth parent and a healthier baby, this does alleviate stress from the birth partner, and it allows the partner to think of ways to be more involved in infant care, such as diapering, skin to skin, cooking, cleaning, so that the birth parent can rest. This also means helping out with bath time, nap time, etc. So it is a huge misconception that a lot of people feel that the only way that you can help a parent is by helping feed them through a bottle, which is not the case. There's so many different ways that you can care for the child, that does not include feeding. And so this comes up with creative ways on how everyone else can support you. So let's talk about what some of my most favorite things about body feeding are, which is the social and emotional benefits that I don't think that we talk enough about. So studies have shown the long-term benefits of breast and body feeding for both child and the lactating parent. There is evidence that links body and breastfeeding to cognitive development later in life. This includes improved memory retention, greater language skills, and intelligence. Infants who were body fed for at least 1 year showed improved outcomes in the early language skills, motor skills, and memory, and this benefits children from childhood to adolescence. So, some of the social and emotional benefits for the birth parent is positive emotions were associated with longer exclusive human milk feeding duration across the first 6 months. Postpartum during feeding were associated with better overall maternal experience of breastfeeding, and body and or breastfeeding helps to reduce the likelihood of postpartum mood disorders. So next, we want to talk about what some of the financial, economic, and environmental impacts are. So it's important to note that although there is a social belief that breast milk is free, it's only free if a person believes that a birthing body's time and energy aren't valuable. According to the Yale School of Medicine, they found that the cost of breast or body feeding for a year can range anywhere from 7,940 to $10,585 per year. This is including the time spent. So if you were to pay somebody to do this, this is what that would equal to. This has a huge impact on low income families. So a single parent home, I think the poverty line is somewhere around like $19,000. And for a family of three, I believe that jumps up to $22,000 if I'm not mistaken. And so if we think about the impacts that this can have for those families in the US, it is huge. So, if birthing folks in the US body fed or breastfed for a minimum of 6 months, the US could save $33.8 billion dollars in healthcare related costs across the nation. That is huge. And it also goes to show you why they don't want that, because that is that much money that they would be missing out on. Formula can cost families on average between $1,200 and $3,900 a year in savings. And this all depends. I just kind of broke down an average of what some formula can cost. I mean, some formula can cost upwards of $52 per can, and some can be as low as 35 to 39. So I just kind of broke that down on average. Body and breastfeeding requires no packaging or shipping, has a minimal water footprint. It's a safe resource for babies across the world and has minimal environmental impact. I also want to note that in emergency situations where we're dealing with natural disasters, war torn countries, that breastfeeding is the most equitable way to continuously feed your babies to keep them healthy. And this is why a lot of people have issues with Nestle and other companies who provide formula samples and formula to these war-torn countries or countries that have suffered natural disasters because there is no access to clean water. And then the last one that I want to talk about is that breastfeeding reduces the release of methane. It saves time, and there is no bottles to wash, and helps to conserve valuable resources, especially in areas where water is scarce. So these are my references. There are several, peer-reviewed articles and studies on there, but I also pulled information from UNICEF, from La Leche League, and Yale School of Medicine, and other, forums on there. And that's going to be it for me. That's my presentation, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you.